if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. No, I'm sorry. I can't sing. I can't sing. I can't sing. But I had to go find that song today after. Honestly, guys, I got up this morning. I was already kind of tired from a late night last night. And then I happened to get a call, multiple calls, telling me, Faith, turn on your TV, turn on the TV, turn on, go to Facebook, go somewhere. You have to listen what the man telling you. You have to listen what the man saying. Because he just told one of the biggest lies on television. So we are going to talk this evening, about some of those blatant, and I call them half truths and whole lies. And we're going to go through it. We're going to go through it. I ain't taking too long, eh? I wouldn't take too long. I'm not taking too long, but I want to go through the process slow and sweet so that you understand what Trinbagonians are going through right now. So that you understand what Trinbagonians and particularly Tobagonians are going through right now to deal with this COVID-19 situation. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the type of grants. The type of grants that were available, well, I don't even know if they're still available, first the lie, that are still available to the people of Tobago, so they say. So they say. So let's start by let us going through, and again, put up your if you have questions, if you have comments, put it up, and I would look at them and we would go through the process slowly. I want to take a little bit of time for you all to recognize what happened. What happened. I am starting with this. This grant application form. As you can see, this is a Tobago House of Assembly Division of Finance and the Economy application form. This was the form that somebody who I know got this form from a P&M representative, and they asked me to help them fill it out. And that was the first time I had seen the form. That was the first time I actually messaged Assemblyman Farley and messaged Assemblyman Watson, Minority Leader Watson, and said, all you know about this form, where this form come from? Because this wasn't the form we were looking at. So I just wanted to show you all. When they say, see, it's for Tobago residents only, this is the form that they are using in Tobago for the food card situation. For the food card situation. The whole heaping set of bacchanal where all kind of people who wasn't supposed to have food card, giving out food card and whatnot. This is the form that those people who are getting the green food card, the green cards, at first they were food cards, now they are debit cards, where it seemed like you could use them in like pharmacy and that kind of thing. This is the form. This is the form that you need to fill out. As you could see, it is a very, very simple form, not very long. All it's asking for basically is your name, your address, your date of birth, telephone contacts, whether you're male or female, next of kin, where your next of kin live in, contact information. And there's a little part for you to say special need of applicant, meaning if you just lost your work, if you're whatever is the reason, whatever is the reason you are applying for this emergency social assistance program, you put it here. And this is what they have been using in Tobago to give you your green either food card or green Collins had debit card. Now I got a picture of it. Somebody who got one sent a picture of it, but I don't have it here for you to see what we're talking about. And as I'm saying that, I want us to pay very, very close attention to something. When we started this whole thing, they first started with the fact that the ministers of parliament were going to they started with 50, then they gave them more food cards. I said from day one, once you start having the politicians jump in with the food card distribution thing, it got to be chaos, it got to be crazy. I said that from day one, but no. It's them party, they could do what they want with that. Those food cards are the red food cards. Those are the red food cards. So when they're telling you things and they tell you about how many food cards they give out and whatnot, you have to ask yourself clear, very, very clear questions. Is it green or is it red? If it is red, it came from the Ministry of Social Development. If it is green, it came from the Tobago House of Assembly. Now, granted, I have no problem with the Tobago House of Assembly giving food cards because the ones coming from the ministry were not enough and they were not coming fast enough. So no seed. Okay, so that is that one from the Tobago House of Assembly. This second form, and let me go back to the top. Those of you who have been applying, using the forms, this second form is from the National Insurance Board. As you're seeing here, this is Ministry of Finance. This is the NIB form. Let me tell you, remember, I keep telling you, it is 3 different applications, 3 different processes, 3 different grants that you can apply for. Okay, this one is the Salary Relief Grant application form from the Ministry of Finance. That is the one where if you are paying NIS, if you are working anywhere and they are making your NIS contributions and that kind of thing, that is the one you can apply to this for up to $1,500. And let me stick a pen in that one because it seems like no one heard when they say up to $1,500 because all of us were very surprised when people said they started getting money and they were getting less than 1,500. So we realized after the fact, again, going back to the half truth and whole lies, we realized after the fact that it is not a single 1,500 you're getting, it is up to. So some people get 700, some people get 900, some people get 1,200, some people get different amounts. I am not sure what they use to calculate that, but that is what it is. As it says here, basic information, your name, your gender, telephone numbers, name of employer. This is the one where the employer had to give you their national insurance number and it had a whole sort of bacchanal with that part too. Financial information, so you needed to put in your account number and all of that. As it says here, I certify that the information supplied is true and correct in all respect. You had to sign to make sure you ain't telling no half truth, you ain't telling no lie, whatnot. There's one part here I want to pay particular attention to. Section B talks about termination/suspension of employment. And I want to highlight that because the Prime Minister, I'm going to hear what he said this morning. The Prime Minister said something about this morning that caused all of us to think, caused all of us to come back to jolted back to reality about what is really going on and how we get in a whole set of half-truths. So this says to be completed for employers who were terminated or suspended from employment during the period 19th March to 30th of June. Okay, no scene. That is what it said. Now we recognize, we know, I personally know that getting some of the employers to fill out this form was hard. Plenty of them, I guess they probably know they really wasn't paying your NIS and all kind of story. They were not too keen about filling out this part of the information, but no scene. People were trying, people were doing, people were going out of their way to try to figure out what to do, where to go, how to respond to this. That is what people were doing. Let me just highlight this last form now. This is the one I want to take a little bit of time in because this is the form that it only has the oh gosh, what do you call it? I can't remember, coat of arms. So this is the form from the Ministry of Social Development and Family, whatever is the long name of the ministry. There were 2 versions of this form. This is the form A, which is one where you fill out if you have an employer-employee relationship, meaning you are employed and you are no longer employed, or you have reduced employment or whatever it is because of COVID-19. And it says, and I want you to focus where it says here, guidelines. To qualify for this assistance, you must have been retrenched, terminated or experienced a reduction in income on or after March 1st. The reduced gross income minus statutory deductions of the family must not exceed $10,000 per month. You fill out the form. This is actually the second or third version of the form. If you remember, the first version had a whole lot of hula. You had to go and find 2 references for them to sign and write, but yeah, and all kind of tralala story. We complained enough that they had that they started they simplified the form, and this is a simplified version of the form. I am seeing people already saying that since April. I know most people is since April they sign up this form. Most people is since April they sign up this form waiting for some kind of support. Now I want you to think about what has been going on. This form specifically says retrenched, terminated, and reduction in income. Retrenched, terminated, and reduction in income. That, no, I just want a little pay close attention to that. I'm going to touch that part a little later, but I want you all to pay close attention to that part where it says retrenched, terminated, and reduction of income. What you need to bring, simple thing, your ID card, your letter from your current employment saying you've been reduced or whatever. If you want rent, you need to have, applicants are required to submit proof of ownership as in a WASA bill or other document with name of landlord, rental agreement or most recent rent receipt, and a copy of the landlord's ID and phone contact. Sure. This is where you are sending the emails. Support for you East, North, Central, South, and Tobago. By the way, if you were paying very, very close attention to this at first, the first version of this form didn't have no Tobago on it. I could attest to that because I actually saw it and I had to ask. I post online and somebody who saw an updated version of it told me, yes, there is a Tobago version. They updated the form. Go back to the website, you will see a new form with the Tobago email address. Most people, because we are right thinking people, assumed that when you sent the email to that Tobago email address, it was going to Tobago. Most people assumed that. Most people. We recognized after the fact that that email, when you sent that email to the support for Tobago, it was going to Trinidad. Now, some people would say, what do you mean? Because there were people who did not have access to email addresses. And the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development told them that if you do not have access to an email, you could fill out the forms, bring all of the documents, leave it in an envelope, and drop it in a box in front of the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development. So it have a whole set of people who dropped that in the box at Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development. What most Tobagonians did not know was that after they dropped it in that box, the goodly people who had very competent, who had plenty skills at the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development, all they were doing was scanning the documents and emailing it to that support for Tobago email address. That is all they were doing, scanning and submitting it to that, emailing it to that support for Tobago email address. Now, when I discovered that, I told them very, very early, I spoke about it, having a social response task force that should have been tasked with identifying what these things are, that should have been tasked with identifying if there were bottlenecks. That task force should have been responsible for realizing that, hey, when we send that email, a week passed, 2 weeks passed, nothing had happened. Because remember, they've been sending these emails there since April. We are now with June. Today is the 2nd of June. April, May, June. They've been sending them since April. As a matter of fact, some may have actually been sent a little earlier than that, some from since March, possibly very late, the late end of March. But let's just go with April. Let us just go with April. After, let me switch over to something else now. We then realized only a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago, we recognized that there was going to be a significant delay in the rental assistance. That there was going to be significant delay in the rental assistance. No, we recognize that the whole food card thing seemed to have gone out the window. It's either you know the minister, you know the minister, the whole thing with the school feeding and food card and all. I mean, I think we had actually just given up on the whole food card story. So people now were looking at the income replacement, which for that social Ministry of Social Development, we were told that it was going to be up to, well, no, I heard 1,005, but we're recognizing after the fact that they really mean up to 1,005. Again, they really mean up to 1,005. Hey, it is what it is. We recognize then, and let me pull up this other piece for you all to see. I don't want to, because whole day people on Facebook today talking about PDP lies and what PDP lying about and what PDP and lying about and whatnot. Whole day today, they're on Facebook talking about PDP and the lies that PDP telling and the lies that PDP not telling. This is a release. This is a release that came from the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development on the 20th of May, 2020. The 20th of May, 2020. That is where that information came from. The secretary, no, it was the assistant secretary, I think, who did a press release, did a press conference that day or maybe the day before. When they spoke about the fact, you all realize this is the 20th of May we're talking about. They spoke about the fact that they realized that some kind of fraud taking place. People who renting and renting and all kind of tralala about the rent and who trying to scam the country out of rent money. They realized that. So they have basically halted all processing, all distribution, and they were sending all Tobago documents to the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development for them to do the assessment for the rental assistance. That was the 20th of May. So we have people who applied since March. We have people who applied since April, waiting patiently. And on the 20th of May, we get a release saying that practically everything stopped. As it relates to the rental assistance, practically everything stopped. And they now are starting the process of doing the assessment in Tobago. Now, what you all didn't know is that we had to say, thank God, that there were some people in Tobago who did not have access to email and so forth. So those people had been dropping their applications at the division, and the division was scanning them and sending the scanned documents to Trinidad. Now the division, bless their heart, bless the social workers and whoever was there doing it, they actually kept the hard copies of those forms. So whatever forms were dropped off, they had the hard copies of those forms. My understanding is that it is those copies that they have been working with since the 20th or thereabout to do their assessment, because they had not gotten the copies that were sent directly to Trinidad. So if, for example, like I did several people came to me, they need help, they need this, that, and the other. If they had an email address, they do it themselves after I help them fill it out, whatever. If they don't have an email address, I used my personal email address and sent it directly to Trinidad. Assemblyman Farley spent countless nights in his office doing the same thing, doing up the form, signing references on behalf of people, scanning them and sending them to Trinidad and all of that. We were all doing that for the entire, as a matter of fact, I didn't even do it for a particular area. I did it. Anybody who asked me for help, I helped them. Only to realize on the 20th of May that this process had practically come to a halt. This process has practically come to a halt, and that they were just trying to go through the ones that were dropped off at the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development. And you know what? I know for a fact that up to last week, probably Thursday or Friday, which was what, the 28th, 29th, around there, they had not gotten any of the forms from Trinidad to do the assessment of those that are in two that went directly to Trinidad. Do you know how I know that? I will tell you how I know that. I know several individuals, because remember, it's rent money people looking for rent money. Rent had to pay close to the end of the month. Remember, plenty of these people, they were out from March, April, May, we're now in June. So you had the end of the month coming, and several people calling to say, okay, we are not a month in. My landlord hounding me down. My landlord saying all kind of thing. My landlord threatening to put me out Sunday. My landlord saying whatnot. So because it's the end of the month, last week, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, plenty of those people were contacting the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development to find out what was going on. And they were told honestly, last week, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they were told honestly by members of the staff who were responsible for doing this, or who knows about what they are doing, that we are only able to work on the ones that we have in hand because Trinidad didn't send up the rest of them yet. I want anybody, all of the people who have been calling me all kind of name on Facebook whole day today, and calling PDP all kind of name on Facebook today, prove to me that the division, that was not the case. Let them prove that. Let them prove that Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development had all of the files for every single person from Tobago who has applied to that support for Tobago people. Prove that to me. You prove that to me. And if that is the case, the people who are in the office last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, when people who are begging to have their rent paid, calling because they're getting so bothered by the landlord calling them and hounding them down and all kind of thing, why did those officers tell them that they could only be able to do the assessment if they are part of the group who dropped in the forms so that Health, Wellness, and Family Development could upload them for them? Because if they had sent them in on their own directly or some other way, as long as it did not go through the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development, the division did not have that data. That was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I challenge anybody tonight to prove that that is wrong. I challenge anybody to prove that that is wrong. Which is why this morning, when my phone started ringing so early in the morning and people calling me to hurt my head to tell me, listen to that man this morning, talk all kind of thing, I got so, it honestly, Tobago, it ruffled my spirit. It did. Because some of the same people who called them last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, messaged me right after saying, Faith, another mountain coming. And like they ain't ready yet. What I gonna do? What I gonna do? How poor me trying to talk to some of the landlords to tell them to hold straight because it's coming. Because it's coming. Poor me. Now, trying to talk to some of those to tell them, oh gosh, all your ease ship now. All your, oh gosh, we understand the situation. You're asking you, we're begging you. Let me work together on this now. It coming. So don't tell me that it has already been paid, because the same people in the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development were telling them, we ain't paying nothing yet. Even for the ones that we doing here, we ain't get to the point of paying them yet. So ask your landlord to hold on. Even for those that are there, ask your landlord to hold on. So, to all of you, everybody who update and they calling me all kind of name and talking about how people so dishonest and this, that, and the other. No, granted, I know that there are people who are dishonest. That is part of life. And that is why the assessment system is there. I am very happy that when they started going through the process in Trinidad, that they recognized that some people were trying to defraud the system. That is proving that your system works. You should be happy that your system works. You should be happy about that. You shouldn't stop the whole flipping system just because you have discovered that some people are dishonest. We are in a world filled with dishonest people. That is part of your process. That is why you should have put in place systems to do that kind of check in the first place. And the fact that you are finding them means that your system is working, at least that part of it. So what you needed to do is, for those people who you found to be honest, send the name to the TTPS. Do whatever you have to do with them, but don't stop the whole system because you find some dishonest people. Don't do that. Don't stop the whole system because you find some dishonest people. Really? That makes absolutely no sense. So I'm coming to the part where this morning happened. And I don't want you to hear, I don't want you to say I say. No, I don't want it nothing to be what I say and what I ain't say. I want you to hear for yourself what was said this morning in terms of what the dear Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago said to us this morning. Oh, Lord. Here we see. Here we see. I want you to hear for yourself. Don't say I say, because a little quick to say that no, he ain't said that. And I know what you mean, and all kind of thing on his face. You lie. So here we see.
You can't go somewhere else for a grant, because there are people who will go here, there, and collect 5 grants. So you have to screen the people, examine them, and that is what slows down the process.
So the screening is
yes, it is the screening that is slowing down the process, because we just can't just hand it out because you come. Many people may not qualify. And it is those who qualify for it. For example, someone will come. We've had many instances of someone coming and say, I've lost my job, and therefore I qualify for the grant. Then on examination, they determine it is not true. Either that they had no job, or that they... there are instances where, in some instances, we found employers encouraging people, while they are still with them on their employee, saying, go to the government for the grant, and we will give you half of the salary and the government grant. So these are the things that are causing us to have to examine the issuing of these things. And it's...
I want to stop there for a while. I want to stop right there for a while. And this part actually hurting me. I want to stop right there for a while. In none of these press conferences, none of these press conferences did they tell you that you cannot apply to more than one of these grants. No, and listen to me. When I tell you none of them instead of, because I listen, I am probably the sole Trinbagonian, probably outside of the Minister for Health, the Minister for Communications, and the others around them in that circle. I am probably the only person who listened to probably 90, 95 98% of these press conferences. They did not say that. They did not say that you cannot apply to more than one. And you have to think about it. They're giving you 1,005, up to 1,005. Most of us, by the time we pay two bill, 1,005 done. By the time we pay two bill, 1,005 done. And you're now realizing, because remember the whole story about children who needed to get food card and who was getting school feeding and all of them things turn up. Remember, all of them things turn up. You also have to remember that people were applying March, April, and then nothing ain't happening. So you realize, okay, maybe I should try the other one. Let me try the other one. As a matter of fact, I personally have completed forms for people who started with the Ministry of Social Development grants form. And when they realize salt is 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks salt, we come back and say, oh gosh, maybe let me try for the emergency grant for THA. Let me push for that one because like that one coming fast. They're giving all their friend and family. They're giving that one away. So let me try with that one because obviously the one that we tried before, it can't reach yet. So no one said that we should not be applying more than once for the card. Let me pull it back just a little bit and then let you hear the next part of what he said.
You can't go somewhere else for a grant because there are people who will go here.
No, I'm going to pull back a little bit more.
You can't go somewhere else for a grant because there are people who you can't go somewhere else for a grant because there are people who will go here, there, and collect 5 grants. So you have to screen the people, examine them, and that is what slows down the process.
So the screening is
yes, it is the screening that is slowing down the process because we just can't you can't go somewhere.
So it seemed like the internet trying to act upon me. Current trying to.
You can't go somewhere else for a grant because there are people who will go here, there, and collect 5 grants. So you have to screen the people, examine them, and that is what slows down the process.
So the screening is
yes, it is the screening that is slowing down the process because we just can't just hand it out because you come. Many people may not qualify.
Give me a
And
second.
those who qualify, for example, someone.
Let me put it back so that it playing properly because I want you all to pay very, very special attention. Let me think in because I'm seeing the lights dibbling, all kind of things happening. The lights dibbling, all kind of things happening. So let me pull that back a little bit. I'm seeing some of the comments.
You can't go somewhere else for a grant because there are people who will go here, there, and collect 5 grants. So you have to screen the people, examine them, and that is what slows down the process.
So the screening is
yes, it is the screening that is slowing down the process because we just can't just hand it out because you come. Many people may not qualify. And it is those who qualify for it. For example, someone will come. We've had many instances of someone coming and say, I've lost my job, and therefore I qualify for the grant. Then on examination, they determine it is not true. Either that they had no job or that they... there are instances where, in some instances, we found...
Let me go back to a particular part of what he said. Let me go back to a particular part of what he said. He spoke about the fact that there were some people who were still employed. Their employer was paying them less than what they normally make. And because they were paying them less than what they normally make, they were then having them sign the grant applications with the hope of them getting the 1,005 or how much ever from the grant. And those people we recognized today, from what he just said, is that that seems to be now illegal. So we are recognizing that NIB, for example, was not going to give anybody who was still employed but had reduced income. NIB not paying anybody who was employed but have reduced income. And there are several workplaces in Tobago, primarily private entities in Tobago, who instead of sending home everybody, they were kind and they were loving and they were trying to fulfill their responsibility as a responsible citizen, as a responsible corporate citizen, and not send home people. So they agreed with them that we would reduce your income. In some instances, the salary they got was half of what they normally make. Half of what they normally make. With the hope that with the support from these grants from the government, they're going to make up back the income and be able to survive for the couple months. No one ever said that that was illegal, particularly since the Ministry of Social Development spoke about people who were retrenched, people who were fired, and people who had reduced income. The whole concept of reduced income, that is why I paid particular attention to it on the form there. People got the impression that workplaces, employers got the impression that instead of just sending home with workers, we would hold on to them, give them half the salary because nobody ain't going on, nobody ain't making the money. It's a pinch for everybody. And to help with it, we only give you part of your salary, and then we would help you fill out the form to get the rest or some more from either NIB or social development or whatever. And it is this morning that people are recognizing that apparently that was illegal. And that cannot be done. And because of that, those people are now recognizing that they ain't getting nothing. Salt for them. That is what they are now recognizing. Salt for them. Is that fair? I have had people who are decent, upstanding, proud citizens messaging me this morning saying, Dr. Faith, what are we supposed to do now? We already told our bank to help us to just let's do the deferral of the loan, because when we cut the salary that we got, that cut, we could only pay so many different things, and we chose to pay some things. And for example, because they had the banks talking and whatnot, we asked the banks to defer the loan. But that period coming up now, they were all expecting to get at least the 1,005 from NIB or from social development. But like, we are now hearing that that is illegal apparently. Because remember, at first they had also started talking about the fact that in addition to the pandemic leave that seemed to now disappear for the public servants, remember at first they were talking about the fact that they were going to try to help businesses and help hotels and help this and help that and help people to help them keep their employees employed. So having a private entity choose to do that, to me, is a commendable thing. And no one said at any point that is illegal. Don't do that. No one said send them home completely. They were trying to do the responsible thing by holding on to them. I tell you, evil and wicked. and want to come at me today because I said something about it? Want to call me all kind of names because I say something about it? Nah, man. All you have to come better than that. All you have to come better than that. It's people's lives we're dealing with. We're not dealing with. It's people's lives we're dealing with. People have to come out of this feeling okay, feeling like they survived. You can't be doing people them thing here. That is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. And even if I am the only person standing up and saying it, wrong is wrong. Don't come with that. Don't come with that at all, at all, at all now. And he's saying it in such a way as if people were being dishonest. No, they're not being dishonest. They're trying to maneuver the system to figure out how to make this work. That is what they were trying to do. If you recognize that a lot of people were doing that, you needed to then reach out to those businesses and say, hey, we recognize that this is what is happening. How can we work this out? What is going on? Tell us your rationale for doing it this way. Whatever, whatever, whatever. Don't just say they're now disqualified. So it seems like the people who got the social security, the NIB money, are only the people, if you listen to what he said, are only the people who were completely sent home. And anybody who may have been held on but given a reduced income, they are now disqualified. They are now disqualified. And I know, I ain't calling no name, but these are decent, upstanding citizens who are accustomed to live with their head held high. And because of the job that they are doing, they want to continue living with their head held high because plenty we see them every day doing what they are supposed to do. And we ain't even realize that it's half of the salary that they are living on. And they were hoping and praying and waiting that this comes through so that they can go back to some level of normalcy. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. It is wrong. There's nothing anybody could tell me to prove that. And again, for all of you that was jumping up all over Facebook today and all over the place, prove that what I am saying is wrong. Please, prove that it is wrong. And then, let me now try to play this one. Oh, Lord. I'll tell you, you ruffle my spirit this morning, honestly. Honestly. Rough because I don't like advantage. I don't like to see people treated foolishly. I don't like to see people taken advantage of. And it bothers me even more to see some of them that know that they're on real plenty big boards and they're getting big salary and things jumping out and talking all kind of stupidness. Anyway, let me drink a little bit of water. Surprise me, mother and message me and tell me, let me drink a little bit of water. Let us hear this part. This is the part where they talk about how many people actually got these grants in Tobago. Tune in.
Go to, yes, I got the information.
Yes, I think I have got some information here. You know, the people who were registered, like if your employer was complying with the law and registering you as an employee through the NIB and paying you and paying your NIB contributions, there's a record of you. Those are the easy ones to deal with. And the NIB is handling those people who had records at NIB. So this number doesn't include those people. This includes others. Income support, rental grant and food support in Tobago, 2,765 people.
So far?
So far.
Okay.
Covering in these three categories: income support, rental grant and food support, 2,765. Okay. That's a long way from
2,765. Let me write it down. 2,765. 2,765 people in Tobago. And he reading from a paper, which means somebody messaged him or somebody write it down, because he did say earlier, if you listen to the interview, he did say earlier that he was going to try to get the information. So he did. 2,765. Okay? That is what that was. That includes everybody who got food card Now, does that include the green food card then too? Or is that just the red food card? And how many of those include just food card? Because if you tell me that amount of people get food card, just food card, I might actually believe you, eh? Because remember, the THA food card, they're washing them like that into Tobago. All kind of people getting, whether you're need or you need, there are families with 3, 4, 5 people getting food card because you know people who know people who know people. The area rep for Mason Homeriah, he self come on TV last week or week before and talk about the fact that they was just giving away food card. So if what you're telling me, Mr. Prime Minister, is that 2,765 people in Tobago get food card, I don't believe you. I would believe you. Because that is quite possible. The way Ole was washing the place with food card. That is quite possible. Quite possible. It's fine. So we could go with that. But don't tell me that also includes rental assistance and it also includes the salary relief from the Ministry of Social Development. Because remember he said that that does not include the NIB people and what they're doing. He said that. That does not include those people. And when you do the calculations from the amount of people they've been giving, Tobago really has gotten probably about, I would estimate, the last time I estimated it, it was about 500-600 people or so got that NIB money from Tobago. That was a rough calculation when they talk about how much money they pay out, and when they calculate how much people in the country and how much they was paying out, and think 500-600 people in Tobago get it. Sure. But when I talk about that Ministry of Social Development, rental assistance, or salary relief, that can't have no big set of numbers from that 2,000. And you know why? Because last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, when people who they applied for the rental assistance call them, they tell them last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that they didn't start to share them out yet because they're still doing the assessment. And they told them last week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, that they're only working with the ones that they had in Tobago because Tobago had those and Tobago had those and Tobago was working from them. And they're waiting for the ones from Trinidad to come back up. And if you know you sent yours directly to Trinidad, if you have a copy of it, you could bring it in so that we could try to work with you. They said that last week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Today is Tuesday. There is no way, unless every worker in the Division of Health, Wellness, and Family Development worked like dogs Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that number have anything to do with rental assistance or income replacement. No way, because it's them that say, the workers that doing the work, who doing the calling around, who telling you they are the ones who now doing, remember, they are the ones who now calling the landlords and them and asking them for the deed and whatnot. There is no way that number, okay, or let me say, try your best and do 10 yesterday. Push it. You try your best and you do must say about 50 yesterday. Push. And I want anybody to prove to me that a significant portion of that 2,765 number went to anybody who got their rent paid or got their income replaced. Prove that to me. I am putting it out. Prove it to me. All of the millions that are watching, prove that to me. Prove that to me. That 2,765 refers to anybody of any large volume of Tobagonians who need that. Prove that to me. Prove that that payment was already made. Prove that to me. Because I understand that Tobago has decided that since Trinidad taken so long, Tobago will pay the rent themselves, which I said it weeks ago. We should have made that decision long time after the first week we got through and realized nothing had happening as a Tobago House of Assembly. We should have stood up and ensured that our people got what they needed. What happening down there, that is them business. As a member of the Tobago House of Assembly, it is your responsibility to speak and to act on behalf of Tobago people. So a week later, 2 weeks later, you realize nothing ain't happening down there. That decision should have been made then. Don't come and tell me you're doing it now. Prove to me. Show me the exec council minutes showing that it was approved. Show me where money started to pay out. Prove it. More than just a few. Prove it. Please. For the sake of all of us. For the sake of all of the people who were commenting on Facebook today. For the sake of all of the people who refused to comment on Facebook, but all of them was messaging me today. Prove that those people are liars. That those people have been paid. That their landlords not all over them today waiting for the money. And I understand that since this was said this morning, that people who know they apply and know that they need it, they have all been on their way to the office today. I understand it had a decent amount of people. And if you know you is one of them who should be in that money jumping up, and they already said they pay so much of it already, you should be by the office tomorrow asking them, okay, well, what's going on with me? What's going on with me? Ask them, call, ask them. Because remember, he got on TV this morning and he said 2,765 people. And that includes food card, rental assistance, and income replacement. This is what we have been dealing with. And in the middle of all of this, in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of everything, this is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to deal with. So on top of everything else, but they're adding this kind of stress to people's life. Where and this is you know what I am, what is annoying me? It is the same country who's saying they don't have enough money, but it's the same people who, on a drop of a hat, hired 4 private security companies to assist the police. We don't even know how much that would have cost. We use that money to pay people. So don't tell me to have money. It's how much billion that to take out of the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. And every time somebody asks, what about Tobago? What about Tobago? The minister saying, well, if the Tobago House of Assembly needs additional money, they should apply to the Minister of Finance the same way we applied to the Minister of Finance. Same way we applied, which means, again, salt. And you want to come on TV this morning and talk this kind of foolishness and feel nobody. As a matter of fact, when I heard it swear, I trying to call Channel 5. It's like, I swear Channel 5 blocked my number this morning. I swear Channel 5 blocked my number this morning. If you check my phone, the amount of time I dialed that number. Trying to call in to ask him that question. Trying to call in to ask him. Because it is. If not a whole lie, it is certainly a half truth. Now, I would wind up by playing. No, the reason I did the live tonight, instead of jumping off, as a matter of fact, I'm glad I did it tonight, because this way I'm able to calm down and that kind of thing. Because this morning it actually hurt me. This morning I didn't even need the coffee. First in rough on this way. I didn't even need the coffee this morning. But I waited specifically because I know that the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development had their press conference this afternoon at 1 p.m. So I say to myself, maybe, they're going to come and say something of worth at that point. They're going to make me just have to tell people, Facebook, everything okay, we good to go. All again, all your story, everything good. Let me calm down, let me just wait another week or whatever, thing. And then this is what was said. Let's see if I can pull that up. This is what was said today in the press conference today. Basically, she told her to wait a week. So let me see. Here for yourself.
Family development. At our last press conference, I did indicate that there were some changes specific to the rental assistant grant, and a verification process was included as part of the requirement. I wish to update you all just to inform that we currently have 7 verification teams on the field across Tobago. The total number of applicants from Tobago for rental assistance is 485 applicants, and to date we have verified approximately 200 of those applications. We expect the majority of payments to be made this week, as we have done some payments already in emergency situations. The verification team
I just want you to notice, she said 400 and something. I can't remember the number. 400 and something. They've already done 200 and something verifications. They have already made some payments in emergency situations. Now, if that some payments in emergency situations was any number of worth, they would not tell me. If that number was larger than must be 5 or 10, they would have tell me. If that number was the 200 and something that they say they've done, they would have tell me. So the fact that she could say that some payments were made in emergency situations, you have to ask yourself, what exactly is an emergency situation, and exactly how many are those? How many? Because I know, as a politician, that if that number was plenty, Faith would have been screaming it. Faith would have been talking about it loud, because it's plenty. It shows that I'm working, especially I've just come back in the division, blah, blah, blah. I work in. So the fact that they did not even say what that was makes you wonder how many of those were actually paid. And I really wish somebody had asked them that this afternoon. Don't just say some in emergency situations were paid. Let us know how many were actually paid. Let us know.
Family development. At our last press conference, I did indicate that there were some changes specific to the rental assistant grant, and a verification process was included as part of the requirement. I wish to update you all just to inform that we currently have 7 verification teams on the field across Tobago. The total number of applicants from Tobago for rental assistance is 485 applicants, and to date we have verified approximately 200 of those applications. We expect the majority of payments to be made this week, as we have done some payments already in emergency situations. The verification team has also been able in some instances to meet the landlords on the premises as they were out doing the verifications. So landlords are aware that the process is in train and nearing completion, and some have family development.
Earlier. I was with you right up until she said that, I mean, I understand the situation. I understand it's PLM in Tobago that really just, as I understand one of their people said the B team. Well, I guess Tobago must say the C team. So I understand that they were going through some issues and it need to work out, blah, 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 I understand. And I was with her up until the point where she had the gall to say to Tobagonians that this is not about politics, that this is not about PNM or PDP. And you see how quick they throw in the UNC next to PDP, but that is another life. Don't worry. We got to deal with that one. Let's keep going down that racist road and see how far it will get you on. But don't worry, we're going to deal with that at another time. We ain't talking about that now. This is politics. This is politics because politicians were elected and selected to represent the people who go out on election day and read the so and so finger for you. This is politics. And it is politicians who make policies who then needs to then be implemented for the people to get the services that we need. This is politics. Because if all you're the politicians, instead of spending the last how much months fighting among all yourselves in that Tobago Council, you all would have realized that it needed to have a task force for social services, that you would have realized that very early in March. And if March come and go on and you end it by April, you should have realized by then that something ain't working in Trinidad. This taking too long, and because we in the Tobago House of Assembly under the 5th schedule of the THA Act, responsible for social welfare response, it is our responsibility to do it. The politicians who are in exec council, instead of all it was they're fighting each other and cussing up each other in exec council, all you should have been making the decisions to use jazz money or to use whatever money, because we in COVID, you have to think about it differently, to pay people so that even if you ain't getting money from government in Trinidad, you take care of your Tobago people. And because it's PNM in Trinidad and PNM in Tobago, you have decided very, very early that since they ain't doing what they should be doing down there, you gotta take the money, and because it's your big brother down in Trinidad, you will get back your money, so you ain't even have to worry about that. This is politics. And the moment you politicians decide to stop playing the fool with people's lives, all of this stuff will continue, because again, it's like, you fine. You are fine. You are fine. So you ain't worrying about nobody else. This is politics. I got into politics because I wanted to influence change. I got into politics because I know that politicians are required to make policies that affect people's lives. Don't you dare watch anybody in the PDP and talk any foolishness about this. Is not politics. Don't you dare. If you were doing it right, we would have no reason to speak about it. So stop with that foolishness. And I know it's something that you've been trying to do, to make sure that anybody who say anything around COVID time, or you're showing the politics thing, to make it seem like all you only playing politics and you only studying politics and whatnot. But they say all you're using the same politics to do all your, yeah, I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that. So don't tell me that this is not politics. If in your mind this is not politics, then you need to not be a politician. You're wasting your time getting up, and everyone out there, wasting your time getting up every morning, putting on the nice clothes, and go in the people and them office. This is politics. Or you stop with that utter foolishness, please. It ain't gonna stop me from saying what I have to say, because it is what it is. This is politics. And that it's because of this why I got into politics. So don't come and tell me, or any of my colleagues, Assemblyman Farley Chavez Augustine, or Minority Leader Assemblyman Watson Duke, that this is not politics, because it is. Folks, thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, share the live, share the live, share the live. I was not planning to be longer than an hour, and it's already past an hour. I want you to thank you all so much. Ensure that other people see this, because I know there are several people in Tobago, in Trinidad and Tobago, who don't really understand what is going on and why it seems like nothing is working. They may not understand what is going on. So this is why I'm asking you, please Share the live. Share the live. Thanks to all of you who are commenting. I'm seeing the comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being a part of this. I am going to end by playing the song that I started with, which is Lord Nelson, because I think it is the perfect song to describe what happens in this land today, on this island known as Tobago. This is sad that we are here now having this discussion, but it is what it is. Thank you all so much. Oh, before I leave, quick thing. Assemblyman Farley Chavez Augustine will be interviewed on Wednesday, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Search for Mama Coco's Life and Style, that page. He will be interviewed on that page at 8 p.m. tomorrow. Mama Coco's Life and Style. Search for it. I will also share it so that you can follow it. And Assemblyman Farley Chavez Augustine will be on that show tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. at 8 p.m. So guys, thank you so much. After the song, I'm going to end the live again. Thank you all so much. Have a blessed and wonderful evening, and thank you.
See who they will crown as lion champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies, big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a feel about 1,000 or so entry in 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on Liar the lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He say his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman wide 80 feet in span. He had to tighten the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Why say? Check it out. Liar the lion, he laughed till he sweat. He said, Mr. Debo, ain't say nothing yet. If you really want to hear about fishing, let me blow your mind. Now listen to something. When you're talking about fish, you just hit the spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great, but it's them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead on points in the show, completely eliminated Mr. Debo. The next man to beat was Willie Outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie first. The judges asked Lion. The lion agreed. Say any topic we'll pick is alright with me. He outrageous, I strong. Let we meet head on. And when we done, see who head fit to wear the crown. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie? Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die. Let it go. Let it go. Shook it up.